yes, products need to be environmentally sustainable, but also economically viable.
Christoph, welcome. Christoph, when we look across the packaging industry today, what is changing the fastest? Where are the biggest growth opportunities?
I would say, packaging always follows their end markets. And SIG is a packaging system company. We sell our packaging systems to the food and beverage industry. Now, in food and beverage, I see two growth opportunities, two trends. One is around unlocking value for food and beverage brands, and one is about managing the sustained cost pressure that brands are facing. So on the value side, consumers today, they're looking for more healthy products. It's probably best manifested in these protein drinks. In the past, that was maybe a product that a consumer that was going to the gym would have, and that was a Western consumer typically. Now that has become a global phenomenon. Aging society, GLP-1, believe it or not, it's changing what consumers consume. As you consume less volume, it needs to be more protein rich, more protein dense what you consume. So that is a huge growth opportunity. And then now coming to packaging. So these products tend to be premium. So you want packaging that stands out on the shelf, so that has a premium appeal. You want packaging that's convenient to open, because a lot of these products, they're almost meal replacements. So you need to be able to easily open it, consume it in full. And thirdly, you need a product because they're highly nutrient rich. So you need a packaging that protects these nutrients. But let's come to the sustained cost pressure. So ever since we came out of COVID, food price inflation has been a topic. And a lot of consumers are concerned. I mean, 1/3 of consumers actually struggle to pay for the food and the basic beverages that they buy. So unit economics is super important. And there, of course, again, as a system supplier to the food and beverage industry, high speed, fast changeover, low waste is super important to manage unit economics and offset some of that cost pressure that brands are facing.
How are you managing to navigate that, those changing cost pressures, but also changing consumer behavior?
As a packaging company, let's say we are, of course, in the second row, right?
Yeah.
It's the brands that look at changing consumer behavior, but you make a very important point. You need to have agility in your asset base and supply chain as a beverage company, because consumers are changing and consumer preferences are changing faster. Companies look at more micro segmentation. So what is exactly the consumer I want to reach? In what occasion? With what product? What package size? So that creates what we call SKU proliferation. You end up with lots of products, but at the same time, you have that cost pressure. So what you need is actually in your asset base agility by design, as we call it. So a packaging machine needs to be able to do multiple volume sizes. So you can do all of these different products without having to invest each time into new filling machines when you want to launch a new product.
Let's talk about sustainability. Businesses have spent a lot of money and a lot of time trying to make packaging more sustainable. Where is the industry moving ahead and succeeding, and where are the biggest challenges still remaining?
The narrative and the priorities have changed over the last couple of years. I mean, when we came out of COVID, I think humanity and the society discourse was really about the fragility of the world. So sustainability was at the very top of the agenda. And almost it was sustainability at all cost. I think that has changed now. And companies are more looking at, yes, products need to be environmentally sustainable, but also economically viable. What do I mean by that? And coming to packaging. So if I now come with the most sustainable pack, but I'm telling you, look, it's going to be 10% more expensive, you will not be able to, as a company,
Yep.
as a beverage company, to pass that on to the consumers, because there is this say-do gap. If you ask consumers, you want to have a more sustainable product, everybody will tell you yes. But if you tell them it's 10% more expensive, they will probably in a survey still say, yeah, I'm sure I'm going to pay, but in front of the shelf, they don't buy, right? So these economic realities, I think they're much more important these days. They are our design paradigms, but we need to make that transition at the end of the day affordable.
Christoph, fascinating. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Georgie.